So let's talk about defense for a moment and the Middle East for a moment. Where are we in the Middle East? Are we on the right path there? Are we fighting ISIS properly? Are we losing? Are we winning?
The United States defense budget, which dwarfs several of the 7 or 8 other industrialized countries combined, has a lot of work to do to catch up with the changing threat that we see in the world today. When I look at America's enemies, and we as Democrats have to be honest, America has enemies. We have people that would willfully do harm to ourselves and our allies. But increasingly those enemies are non-state actors. Increasingly those enemies can do harm to the United States of America through a click of the mouse, by disrupting our transmission system, by interrupting our clean water supply, by stealing our information and financial systems. And our defense budget is not properly calibrated to deal with this emerging threat. I'm suspicious of the boots on the ground approach that was de rigueur during the Bush years, that frankly has created the destabilizing force in the Middle East that gave rise to ISIS that we're now fighting today in this country. We have allies in this world. The United States has to honor the commitment that we make to our allies. And we have to frankly honor those individuals that are in places like Syria that are being shot at for delivering people food and water. And the United States is the most powerful nation on earth. We need to use our full resources to make sure that those humanitarian programs can be completed without harm.
In 2003, there was one candidate for president who was opposed to the Iraq War. Early on, at the beginning. That was Howard Dean. And at the time when I went to work for him, he was 2 things. One, he was an asterisk in the polls. And second, he was I think he was the only, I'm sure some reporters can fact check me, but he was seen as a total outlier for his clear and moral opposition to the Iraq War. I was so proud to be part of that campaign. I was the director of online organizing for Howard Dean's 2003-2004 presidential campaign. And we, in a grassroots way, because that's how I work, it's always organizing, raised up people's voices against the war. I think the best guess of how you'll approach foreign policy is how you've approached it in the past. I also was opposed to the Libyan intervention, and I've taught foreign policy. A lot of my focus has been on trade. We talk about the economic part of trade, but it's also important to recognize that trade has a war and peace component as well. And my time is out to talk about foreign policy in a minute and a half.
Well, let me ask you this. What's the best response to an attack on American soil?
I'm going to wait till the particular instance. I really believe from years of looking at particular examples, whether it's Eritrea and Ethiopia, that's not an attack question, but different foreign policy, is that we should approach with incredible desire to learn and understand the particular circumstance. So it has to be a very clear response, but I can't answer a hypothetical without knowing